Summer break is here. How many of you are a little nervous about it? On top of the fun family trips and activities and all the fun things happening this summer, you might be feeling a little bit concerned about how is it going to go with my kids at home all day long. So some of us get to have our kids in summer camps and all kinds of activities and they're busy and taken care of. And some of us don't get to. So I work from home. My name is Michelle Cox. I'm a certified life coach. I work from home. I meet with my clients mostly over Zoom. So my home office is right here in the thick of it. So here we are, summertime, and I want to make sure that my kids have meaningful time. I want them to have fun. I want them to be creative. I want them to relax. I want to gather and watch movies and play games and make the best of our time together. But I also want them to contribute and I want them to know that they are responsible for our home environment. I want them to take responsibility for how they treat each other because, as you know, if you have more than one child, hearing your kids in the other room yelling at each other is not very fun at all. And that can be a trigger for us, right? So I just had a great council moment with my kids a few days ago, and I'm excited to share with you what we came up with. And maybe this can be an inspiration for you that you can adjust and tweak to whatever is going to work best for your family. But I'm going to divulge and spill the tea and give you some ideas that can create maybe a framework. So I'm excited to do this. And I have to tell you, my kids that are still at home, I have 6 altogether. 3 are moved out. They are working and going to school and doing great things. And my younger 3 at home are 14, 10, and 9. So we have a good age span with those 3. And even more so with all 6 of mine, there's a 14-year span. But with the 3 at home, we've got that age range, so 4 to 9. And so, of course, the expectations are going to be different. The jobs that I assign are going to be different. Um, Even the knowing how to best manage their emotions is going to be different, right? And it's day to day. Some days I'm like, wow, my 9-year-old's really getting along great with everyone. And then maybe it's the older one who's instigating the poking of the bear in the middle child. Oh my goodness. So, but today I'm going to show you some things that we came up with. And so here's where it all started. I was listening to, for the 1,000th time, one of my children just streaking at another one of the children and really frustrated. And I was like, all right, everybody gather in the living room. We got to talk. It's time to talk. And so at the end of it, I called it a family council, but I didn't really do that in the beginning. I was sort of just like, okay, we've got to put out a fire here. So I wasn't really coming into it very structured and with a lot of ideas ahead of time. But there were things that I'd already been thinking about that did get addressed in our powwow. And so it ended up feeling a lot like, and it was a family council. So if you don't have family councils in your family, this is an idea, something that you should take on because this is a way to get everyone's voices heard, help everyone feel like a valuable contributing member, and to where they don't feel like they're always being put upon. So when children have an opportunity to express their thoughts about what the expectations should be, that helps them to feel safe, right? They feel valued, they feel respected, and they're much more likely to adhere to a rule that they came up with or a consequence that they suggested, and they're more likely to cooperate and go with it. Instead of me just coming like, here are the 25 rules and you all must obey or else. So a council is a beautiful time for a parent to show a child how to discuss a problem in a way that is respectful, that's calm, but direct and sincere, and maybe a little bit firm and stern. So you don't have to have an angry voice, but there might be moments where like, look, this is where I'm drawing the line. This is like, I'm having enough of this. And I am a parent. You are a child. I have the final say. And so as I've kept this approach with my children as they grow up, I do feel like they feel respected, and that helps them to respect me without me having to demand it. We don't have to demand respect. In fact, Whatever we're getting when we're trying to demand respect, I don't think is respect. I don't think your child respects you if you're demanding it and being harsh and physically violent. I don't think that's respect. That's more out of fear and self preservation. But when there is that respect, an adult showing a child how to behave in a mature way, we're teaching them how to be a mature adult and a mature child at the same time. They're understanding what the pattern should be. Now, children have neurons in their brains called mirror neurons. They will then imitate naturally, have this instinct to mirror what they see. So, a parent who is showing, I can have a calm and collected conversation with you about a problem. I'm going to listen to your opinions. I'm going to listen to your ideas. I'm going to take them and really look at them and give you a chance to participate in how the functioning of our home goes. You're helping them to learn how to do that when they grow up. When they're an adult, they will stay calm and collected when it's time to negotiate or advocate. It doesn't have to turn into a screaming match. What a wonderful thing to teach your child. They need to know this. That is a future, happy, stable family that you're helping to mold in your children when they're young. So here we go. It all started. Yes, I'm hearing one child screaming at another child, and you're unfair, and you're cheating, and you're lying, and ugh. So I called the kids to the living room, and my husband's out of town. Otherwise, he would be a part of this too. I think that all parents, both parents, need to be involved, and maybe parents need to first discuss an issue together and become unified on how they feel they should proceed, and then bring it up with the kids and help them to have some input, right? So it's very important as a couple to be unified, to find that common ground, to find maybe we can compromise on this. Maybe we can figure out a solution that is different than what either one of us started with, right? That's a strong marriage relationship, and we want to be able to present that to our kids. But at the same time, I think there are times where, sure, I think kids should observe their parents communicating calmly, but they have a different opinion about things. Yeah, they should watch and see how parents, as spouses, can talk through and say, well, this is what I'd rather do, and what do you think about that? And then come to a solution. That's powerful. Kids need to watch that. So don't do all of your problem solving behind doors. Like, they should see some of that, but demonstrate maturity and mutual respect. Okay, so that's what I want to share about that. So here, this is kind of where we started. I was like, all right, we need some ground rules and expectations. I want everyone to be clear exactly what is going to be common laws here in our home. Like, how many times we do this, right? But every now and then you have to re-examine, re-clarify, restate, so everybody's on the same page. Nobody's upset that someone's doing that and getting away with it, because guess what? We all know what the expectations are. So here's where we go with this. All right, I hope you can see this somewhat. Let me scoot a little closer. So we started with number 1, no rage baiting. You don't have permission or freedom to rage bait. We define that as you purposely are trying to get someone to be angry. And when you see that they're upset already about something, or they're complaining about you doing something, then you continue to poke and prod and needle and get it worse, right? We don't want that. What we want in our home is to know how to communicate, express our needs, express our desires, advocate for ourselves, but it doesn't have to be done with yelling. And when you see that someone is already upset, don't poke the bear and make it worse, right? So I'm like, if I see that happening, this is the law I'm going to enforce, and you're going to have a consequence. All right. So that was number 1. Number 2, cooperate the first time. So when mom or dad says, please, please don't aggravate your sibling. They're already upset, and then you do it again. That means you're not cooperating the first time. And it kind of goes back to rage baiting, but cooperating the first time also includes like, you've been called to the dinner table, or it's you've been called to gather for to get our chores done, or you've been asked to take care of your dishes after a meal, and we're not going to ask over and over, because if I have to ask over and over, that's frustrating for me. That doesn't help us to have a cohesive family. But I'm also going to be realistic about, well, you are finishing up something. Like maybe you're finishing a game. I can be realistic. I can see, well, there's time, I can wait till they're done and then have them do that. So I promised them too. I'll be realistic. And you can also tell me, oh, we're actually close to this. Um, is it okay if I finish this game or activity and then do that? And the reason why I included that was because I'll often hear, but I'm almost done, so I'm going to do this first. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather you asked. May I finish this and then do what you're asking me to do, right? Okay. So number 3, take charge of yourself. Taking charge of yourself means you're taking charge of your emotions. You're not blaming other people for how you feel. If you're getting angry, you're not saying it's their fault they did this. You're saying, yeah, they did that, and I let myself get really worked up about it. And I let myself get even more angry. And then I took myself to my room and slammed my door. I did that. So taking that responsibility, taking charge of yourself also means noticing what your chore is for that day and what is on the checklist, which we're going to get to in a second, and doing it without having to be told even. You're taking charge of that because you already know. It's all mapped out. And I'm going to show you more because it's so exciting. It's been working. And then number 4, have an open mind about how we're different. So something that doesn't bother you and is bothering your sibling or your parents, that's valid. If they are feeling frustrated and annoyed by this behavior and they're asking you nicely to not do it, just stop. Allow them to have that request, and it's a reasonable one. Maybe you're making a weird squawking noise over and over and over. You can do that in your room with the door closed. But in the common area, if people are starting to get bothered by that, realize, be open, they might not enjoy it as much as you do. And that's okay. You can do it outside. You can do it in your room. But let's be respectful of our common space, right? And anyways, so there's just a lot of things that went with that. But that, I was like, I don't feel like we need to have a lot of rules. We just need some guiding principles. So the no rage baiting, that's more of a rule than really a principle, because I think you could say, take charge of yourself. Okay, that you're controlling how you're talking to someone, so you're not going to rage bait them. Oh, the lingo we have these days. So, but anyways, I just didn't feel like we need a lot of rules. So I was like, that's all the rules or principles, guidelines, whatever you want to call them. We're going to call them ground rules. I said expectations at first, and my daughter was just like, oh, I'm back in school. Because I always call it expectations for the classroom. So I could understand. I was going to have an open mind that was kind of frustrating for her to have that used at home in the summertime. So I said, okay, ground rules. And she was okay with that. Okay, but I said we've got to have some consequences so that if someone is breaking these ground rules, someone can come to me, because we're talking about like you don't try to enforce or police or any of that. You just come and tell mom, you're like, we have to tattle. I'm like, well, yeah, you're going to let me know that this is going on and it's frustrating you. And I'm going to then step in and advocate for you and also lay down the law. I'm going to hold that line because I'm the parent. That's my job. And so we have on here, so consequences, so level 1, we called them levels. That's kind of how it's evolved. Level 1 consequence, if any of these get broken and we have to remedy the situation, then yeah, no, they get an extra chore or they have to go back outside for another. Sorry, there's a fly. So they would have to then choose either an extra chore or an additional 30 minutes outside. And in Texas, it's pretty hot, so they might choose a chore. But the idea being they're outside in nature, they can unwind, they can be a little bit louder and rambunctious outside. All right, so the number two, level two, is no video games. You lost them. If you've already had your turn that day, then they're gone the next time it's your turn. Okay, I am an avid believer as parents to like keep the control of video gaming in your hands. It is a powerful leverage. If you let your child game however, whenever, at any hour with any device, they have their own device, no limitations. Ooh, you've just lost a big battle. You have given up major ground. Your child does not have to have their own device. And if they do, they don't have to have unlimited access whenever they want. Absolutely not. We know it's proven scientifically that children who are on screens excessively, it interferes with their learning, with their attention, with their cooperation, with their sleep, with their reading levels. There's so much that shows children really need to have limited screen time, especially with video gaming. Whew, because it does get very addictive. The constant button pushing. You're training your lab rats trained to respond. That's what scientists do with lab rats, is have them push buttons for rewards. And we're doing that to our children. So I don't have 100% hatred for video games. I think it's fun. I have limits on the content, but anyways, but I think there's fun to it. There is imagination, there's creativity, there's challenge, there's exploring and figuring things out. Great. There's a lot of bonuses to video gaming. I'm not totally 100% against it, but as parents, we need to keep that say in our hands. That is not our kids' responsibility to decide how much they play and don't play. I really strongly don't feel that way, that they should have unfettered access, especially before high school. And even then, we limit it in our home. So in my home, my kids don't get their own devices till they're in high school. And even then, my first two didn't get a phone at all till they were 16. And then it was locked up at first. Anyways, they got their own phones, and then it kind of changed. But especially younger, my son going into high school this fall, we have a phone for him. He was at a church camp last week. We wanted him to be able to communicate with us and take pictures and be on the group chats and reminds and all the things. But we're like, listen clearly, this is not an everyday, all-day phone. So when we get home, it's in my drawer. It's going to be out of sight, out of mind, until you have an away game or you have, something you're going to be gone for and we need to communicate. So that's our feelings on that. But again, the basis, children should not be the ones dictating their screen access and their video gaming access. They need to come and ask for permission, and you give that permission if you feel like it's the right time or not. But they don't just get it whenever they want. I'm like so strongly about that. Okay. And then number three, level three, stepping it up. No screens at all, so we can't even watch a movie together or get on YouTube and watch Mark Rober videos. Okay, do perfect, whatever. TV shows, it's all out. It's all off. Okay, so that's level three. Level four, no friends. You have to stay home. You can't even go out and go to the neighbor's house or to your best friend's house and try to sneak video games over there. So that's level four consequence, that they're even now more grounded, right? They're going to lose privileges even more. But that's only if this continues and gets worse and worse and worse. And I haven't seen it get to that point. And then number five, this was one of my kids' idea, like total groundment. In your room, nothing to do. You have to just really take a decompression time and just Got to figure things out. And I mean, if they're really, really to that point of being so out of control, then that's when, yeah, they've got to go to the room and I'll come talk to them. And I'm going to talk to them anyway. But, you know, like they just really need to take a break from the group. So that's that. That's it. And so far, yeah, we've had two kids come to this level 1 and one got to level 2. And I probably should have done level 2 with one of the kids. But, you know, it's just been a few days. But they're taking responsibility and they're noticing I'm going to lose some privileges that I really care about. Leverage, parents, leverage. That's what it's about. So the other two things, and these are still just rough. These are just notes. I'm showing you real life right here. This is not manufactured. This is not curated to be pristine. This is not Instagram worthy. This is reality. This is my family, my home. And so I want to show you the next level that we went through. I said, okay, well, actually, let me go back to the checklist because this is something that we've had the checklist. My older boys who are in their 20s can remember when they were younger having the checklist. And I used to actually have it written on a paper on the fridge. At some point that got lost, but everybody has it memorized. They know the checklist. But I wanted to write it down again just because we were in a council moment clarifying everything so nobody's surprised by anything. It's all there for their information and forewarning and being informed. So the checklist, it seems really long and some people are like, oh my goodness, you actually get your kids to do that in the summertime? I do. And this is weekends, this is school breaks, this is all the time. They know on the checklist is going, I'm going to say, did you do the checklist? If they're like, can I get on the TV? Can I play a video game? Like, did you do the checklist? And they'll say, I think so. I'm like, okay, let's go through it. Tell me what you've done. So this is it. And in the summertime, I add more because we have a lot of time to fill. And very little of it's going to be on screens. So eat breakfast, get dressed, brush your teeth and your hair, shower if you're a morning shower person. Some of my kids shower at night. And some in the morning. They have to do a chore, make their bed. They need to get some exercise. So like walk down the block and back our neighborhood. So that would be about a mile. So to go all the way to the end and back. We got to do that every day if they want to get on screens. We invite them to do personal scripture study. We're a religious family. So I'm like, pick whatever you want to study about, but read something. And then tell me about it. What'd you like? What'd you hear? Or what did you read? We'll have family scripture study. We have family prayer together in the mornings. I invite them to pray on their own. I want them to do something creative. They might play an instrument. They might build Legos or do a puzzle or read a book or do some sort of crafts. My daughter's really into crocheting lately. And they also need to get their laundry. It's great to bring it to the laundry room and get it washed and dried, but if it doesn't leave the laundry room for days, that's also stressful. And then they need to have lunch. So all of that, they can take as long as they want to get all this done, but it can't be done and on screens earlier than 12. So noon is the earliest they can get on screen. So they know that. And they know, okay, if I want to get on screens at noon, then I'm going to get all this done in the morning before noon. And some of them sleep until 10. They'll get it done before noon. And so, yep. So that's the checklist. And I can share, and I can type, I need to type it up anyway. So I can share that in the comments. But the other thing is game time. So because I want to limit game time, I really want to make sure that they're getting plenty of time where they get to be creative off screen, exploring things with their hands, like tactile, not just pushing buttons. And so I really limit video gaming. And so we came up with this was the next step. Okay, let's clarify our game turns. And I mean, normally for my kids during the school year, they get 1 turn a week. My older ones get more time, I'll be honest. But my younger ones, yeah, 35 minutes once or twice a week. That's it. Maybe just on Saturday or something. They really don't get much game time. And so I said, well, summertime, we have more time, right? Okay. So my elementary schoolers, 35 minutes We said 4 times a week. Because I was like 3 or 4, and they're like 4, 4, 4. It's like, all right, we'll try 4. This is the negotiation. That's good and healthy. We'll try 4 times a week. And if I see that that's causing you to be really angry and irritable, and you're just like kind of out, acting out when you get off your game time, and it's getting, I can tell like it's not affecting you well. So we'll cut it down to 3. My middle schoolers, 45 minutes, 4 times a week during the summertime. School year, not nearly as much. High schooler, 55 minutes. Okay, so that's how we just broke it down. Very fair if you're in elementary, middle, or high. Okay, that's the checklist, the game turns. And then I was like, I really need to automate. I need to automate doing chores. Make this as easy and painless as possible. I don't have to try to think every day, what jobs do they need to do and who's going to do what. We made a schedule. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm so happy. Thank you to my friend Mary, Clutter Genius. This is something I'm like, she would love this, that I did this, because she's a clutter genius, and a lot of that is decluttering your decision making. Automate as much as you can, and that takes out the stress, right? So we have a whole schedule now. Each of my kids knows what their job is Monday through Saturday. Sunday, take a break. Relax. Unless it's the dishwasher needs to be unloaded. And my daughter knows every day of the week what she needs to do. And this is also, I think, a key for a very strong and impactful leader, is one who's willing to do what they're asking their followers, or the people they have stewardship over, to do as well. So guess what? I included myself in this chart. Okay, I gave myself a job every day. I said, okay. I didn't even give them like a reason. I just like, okay, so then mom's jobs will be, and they were just like, but you already work so hard. I was like, oh, you guys. And guess what? Because I was being a respectful parent, a respectful leader, and they valued that I was giving myself jobs. You know what they said? Mom, on Friday, you should have a break. You do a lot of work. You do a lot of things for us. So you should have Friday off. You don't have to do a house job. And I was like, that's awesome. You guys, you're so sweet. And what a great thing for them to feel that gratitude to their mom. I'm doing this work. I do a lot of work, right? So I thought that was really beautiful. And that's where I really saw that this is working. This is a council where we are showing respect to one another, and we're valuing each other's opinions. We're being willing to put in the effort, do some work. We're not shying away. This is good. This is what a family does. And then the last line is dinner. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we can each take a night too to pick what we're making for dinner. And that person helps to take the lead on dinner, making it delicious. And we have a couple nights for leftovers. So this is how you can reduce tension, contention, stress, chaos in your home. Getting together, counseling together, being respectful of one another, being very clear. What is the goal? What are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to avoid? We're trying to avoid contention and chaos and disrespect. And that looks like yelling, screaming, fighting, aggravating, criticizing, accusing, all the things that are easily typical in a home, but we don't have to leave it that way. And again, I want to emphasize that parents, we are the leader. We get to have the final say. But as we invite our children to be a part of that discussion, it's powerful. It's powerful for them. It goes so far for a child to feel valued and respected, and that their opinion matters, and that they're a contributor. They have something positive and worthwhile to offer to the family. And our home can be clean, it can be tidy, it can be organized, it can be messy and fun and spontaneous, but there's a framework that gives them a clear expectation And that helps children's nervous systems to feel safer. So I love this is like this has been in my mind so much in the last few months. The contrast between chaos and stability. And the more that a home can be structured in a way that creates stability and they know what to expect. It's consistent and it's reliable. That brings so much safety to a child's inner workings. And even though they're not going to be perfectly behaved, and that's not what I expect, I don't expect perfection, but I sure as heck am going to try to get to where we want to work together and we want to be compassionate. We want to be kind. We want to have fun and not have chaos and conflict and contention. So they get to taste that. They get to taste what stability tastes like. It's wonderful. They get to taste what chaos tastes like. And I hope that they decide that doesn't feel good. It doesn't taste good. What I really want is stability. I want that mutual respect and that cooperation. I want to fulfill my jobs even before I'm asked. And my 9-year-old said that. He said, wow, I could get these done before you even ask me. And I was like, you get the Nobel Peace Prize. That's really the key to world peace is doing what you're supposed to do before anyone asks you, and you do it with integrity so that you do a good job at it and you do it willingly. And then you say, okay, I'll do that. And just that cooperation. To me, that's the answer to world peace is the home unit, everyone there learning how to get along and to cooperate and be responsible and be accountable and take responsibility when they've done something wrong, they've hurt someone, or they've done something obnoxious. They're willing to say, okay, that was annoying, I'm sorry, I can see that affected you in a negative way. That's amazing maturity. So the last thing I guess I didn't point out yet from this chart is where it says VG, that's video game. So that's just what we came up with. So video game, no video games. Video games, no video games. Video games, no video games. So that's how we kind of mapped that out. My high schooler did a little bit differently. Wanted his days to be different. And I was like, sure. That's fine. So I hope you got a little bit of stimulation out of this, of how you can have a family council with your kids. Do it in a loving way. It doesn't have to be in a moment of like exasperation. You can say, hey guys, guess what? We're going to have a family council. Here's this bowl of, here are these bowls of snacks and maybe even some treats. And we're going to sit down and eat together and have these treats, and we're all feeling good. And we're going to figure out our summer break schedule. And you can think of a better term than schedule. That sounds business. That sounds awful, but I don't know, come up with what's gonna work for your family. And I don't know what else to call it other than schedule, but this is how we're gonna have a smooth summer, right? No, but it will be smoother because this is automated, this is clarified, and this is what they know they can expect. So once again, my name is Michelle Cox. I'm a certified life coach for kids. I work with parents. I work with anybody who needs a little help to feel that confidence and to overcome maybe some of the like negative feelings that they have, limiting beliefs about themselves that holds them back from really standing in their power. As a parent, we really need that. As a child, they need to be nurtured and nourished into that role as well. So feel free to check out more of these podcast episodes on YouTube. They're all there, and I go through a lot of different topics that relate to family life or to adult challenges that we might have, and some of the videos are for kids and teens. So check it out, and I'll see you next week on Let's Talk.